Alex Jerome, category lead Road and Gravel at Specialized. We're here with the all-new Tarmac SL9. Can you show us what's new?
Absolutely. We can just walk through this thing front to back. Everything on the bike is actually new. Every tube shape is reimagined and refined. But if we walk through the bike kind of front to back, you can see some huge changes up front. We actually have a much slimmer head tube. We've minimized that by about 2 millimeters on each side, which reduces that frontal area by about 10% surface area up front. And then you have a lot of changes to the front fork as well. We've brought that leading edge forward, creating a much wider depth on the fork legs. But I think one of the more exciting pieces that the team has developed is actually what we call our twisted fork blades, which when you look at that from the front, those fork blades are actually internally rotated. So that helps accelerate that airflow on the rear of the front wheel and just keeps that airflow really clean from the rear of the front wheel into the down tube. One other key piece on the rear of that fork is the dropped down tube, just keeping that really clean and uninterrupted. Compared to SL8, it was much more, let's say, a sharp transition there, but now we have this really smooth, nice transition from the rear of the fork into that down tube. Moving towards the rear of the bike, you also have some substantial changes there as well. If we look at our seat tube, the team has kind of changed the way that we have developed this bike compared to SL8. Previously, we were developing SL8 as a 2-bottle system, so water bottles on the down tube and seat tube. Now we are actually really trying to focus on the bike on those kind of race-defining moments or key moments when a race is being won, or let's say riders are attacking. We really see all of our riders basically ditching that seat tube bottle. So we designed this rear end to be as fast as possible and as aero as possible without a bottle on the seat tube, which is what led to what we're calling our winfin here. Just
this one, eh?
Exactly.
And
so
it's not winfin, to be clear, it's win.
Win, you know? It's designed for those moments where you're trying to win the race.
Yes, exactly.
So that's just really allowed us to clean up that airflow from the back of the seat tube into that rear wheel. Other couple key pieces though, compared to SL8, this seat tube actually has a completely redesigned leading edge and is also 2 millimeters deeper towards the front. And then one other kind of, let's say, more visible piece that is different from SL8 is our new aeroseatpost up there. That really came about the way the team develops these bikes as a system and having a rider at the center of the ecosystem. So we do a ton of our development in our wind tunnel with our moving leg mannequin. And what we realized overall of that development is the airflow speed really accelerates between a rider's legs. So with that accelerated airspeed, we realized we could pick up a nice benefit there with that aero post. Obviously a much thinner cross section and also a deeper cord depth. But that post has been really nice. Not only does it test well with our moving leg mannequin, but we've had a lot of our athletes on that post, and obviously it's dependent on the individual person because everybody's legs are slightly different width and size legs, but every athlete that we've had on the post has seen a really nice little aero benefit there. So that's been working really well for us.
Cool.
On the rear end, just a couple pieces to note. Obviously you have a UDH compatible rear end. So let's say during the spring, some of the cobbled classics, if the team's sponsored by SRAM want to run one of those full mount derailleurs, or if somebody wants to build their bike with a fun setup, maybe a 1x and an Explorer setup in the rear, you have that optionality. But that kind of gives you the high level overview of Tarmac SL9. If we look at a couple kind of specifics, the frame weight comes in at 687 gram with an RTP colorway. SL8 was 685, so we did add 2 grams, but really essentially retaining that same weight. I think a couple other key pieces for us was just retaining those ride quality and handling characteristics that we have with SL8. That's been one of the more, let's say, really pieces of feedback that our athletes and World Tour teams continue to focus on, especially when those riders are pushing the bikes to that level of performance. It's been a key piece and a really positive piece of feedback from them. So we wanted to hit the same stiffness numbers, same compliance and deflection on that from the saddle. So really comfortable ride, similar to SL8, and obviously same stiffness on that chassis as well.
And you also put in new wheels. They're already live, but not for now. That's these kind of wheels. And is the choice to bring in the tire that seems almost smaller than the rim. Is that a aero choice here being made, or
yeah?
How does that work?
So we have,
It's a Roval.
Yep, that's
composite spokes.
Exactly. So those are our new Aeros composite spokes, and obviously that wheel has been live for a while now.
Yeah.
That's our new Rapide CLX 3 wheel. We also have our Rapide Sprint. So our teams go back and forth on those. Obviously the Sprint is the deeper wheel, slightly more aerodynamic, but a little bit heavier. In terms of the tire, these are our new cotton TLRs. That's a 30 mil cotton TLR. That's the tire that our athletes and teams spend 95% of the season on.
Yeah.
A few of those races, you know, let's say the cobbled classics and stuff in the spring, they'll run a 32, but for the majority of the racing, they're on that cotton TLR 30. So that's what we wanted to spec. And we spec that, let's say, middle depth wheel. We have the Alpinist, that's that shallower, lighter weight climbing wheel. We have Rapide CLX 3, which is kind of your all-around aero wheel. And then if you wanted to, you could put your Rapide Sprint wheels on there as well, those Sprint CLXs.
Exactly. Cool. Thank you for this Grand Tour.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We're excited to have this thing under our athletes and out there in the real world.